Hi everyone, I'm Johnny. Welcome back to Bad Weather Barbecue, the channel where we talk all things barbecue. And today we're talking about rubs and looking at a quick recipe to show you how to use them. Rubs are a fantastic way to take your barbecue to the next level. If you're a beginner and you want to work up to those briskets and those pork ribs, that's absolutely fine. In the meantime, however, just making this little inclusion in your barbecue cooks will just take them to the next level. The first rubs I ever bought were from Charlie Rendezvous's restaurant in Memphis. And since then, I've kept buying them and I've never looked back. I've used rubs from all over the world, from the United States all the way back to Scotland and everywhere in between. I've been lucky enough to have friends bring me back rubs from their holidays when they visited special places in Texas, such as the Salt Lick. And the rubs that I've used over the years have really helped me take my barbecue to that next level. And that's why I wanted to do this video, to help you guys see what it can do for you as well. Before I get into talking about any specific rubs at all, I just wanted to be super clear that I'm not sponsored or affiliated with any of the companies that I'm going to talk about today. None of the companies know that I'm making this video and haven't contributed anything towards it. Buying your initial rubs can be a little bit daunting because, quite frankly, there's so many on the market just now. So what I'm going to try to do today is talk through some of the key ones that, well, A, I really like, but B, I think would be great starter rubs for you to buy and try yourself at home. And whilst I'm not affiliated or associated with any brands that we're talking through today, I will be honest, I am a little bit biased towards one of them, simply because they're a Scottish-based rub producer. And that company is Angus & Oink, which are actually based about 20 minutes from where I grew up as a kid.
No way!
I've been using Angus & Oink's rubs now for probably the last sort of 2 to 3 years, and I've used them on every occasion I can. I've gone from utilising the likes of the General, which I think is a fantastic day-to-day rub on the likes of my pork ribs, all the way up to Angus & Oink's meat tinsel, which I put on our Christmas turkey this year. You will, however, have seen that they've also launched the Iron Barbecue rub, which I used in my last cook for the chicken lollipops. But we've also used them on really big bits of meat as well when we've been doing our homemade pastrami. Unfortunately, Angus & Oink do a rub specifically designed for pastrami. Angus & Oink do have their own YouTube channel. They've also got their own website where you can buy the rubs from. So what I'd encourage you to do is go onto YouTube and have a little look at some of the recipes that they are producing. The website gives you all the rubs, but then it also gives you some suggestions as to how you can use that rub. And yes, a lot of it is with barbecue and with meat. However, some of it's for baking as well. So all of them are very, very versatile rubs. I did a cook last weekend as well with a pork shoulder, and I just simply used Angus & Oink's sweet bones and butts, which is exactly the sort of recipe that you would want to use with a pork shoulder. It's a lovely paprika-based rub, just with a little bit of sweetness from the sort of maple sugar that's included within it. They're absolutely fantastic, barks up brilliantly on the end product, so definitely one that I would recommend. In terms of a fantastic all-rounder, I would definitely go with the General from Angus & Oink. As I say, it's a fantastic all-rounder. It's a paprika-based rub, which I've used many, many times on pork ribs and on chicken, and I would absolutely encourage you to do the same. And whilst I'm a big fan of Angus & Oink, they aren't the only rub producer on the market. You will see in the Angus & Oink site, they do actually have other brands on there as well, some of which I'll talk about just now. Meat Church out of Texas as well is one that I've used. I've used the Holy Voodoo in my pork ribs video recently. Again, a fantastic rub, and certainly I'll be buying more from Meat Church over the coming weeks and months. One of mine and my wife's most favourite rubs of recent times has been Twisted Q's Bang-In Chop House Burger. We've used this in most of the burger cooks and recipes that we've done in recent weeks and months, and it's fantastic. It has sort of smoked garlic and salt through it, which really just adds a super sort of level of depth to the burgers, and something that we've not had too much of previously. So that's been a very, very welcome addition to the collection. Other brands that we've been particularly impressed with recently have been the likes of Traeger. Most people will know Traeger as producers of very fine pellet grills, but they also make a range of rubs as well. So we've bought the chicken rub and used that when we've been using the rotisserie and indeed spatchcocking chickens on the various grills. So definitely one to recommend there as a good all-rounder for chicken. So with all that said, what I thought it would be really useful to do is just to do a very simple, straightforward cook to show you how to use the rub. So what I'm going to do today is just trim up some chicken wings and just apply some rubs and just cook them for you and let you see how they turn out. So the rubs I'm going to be using today on the chicken wings are as follows. I'm going to be using Angus & Oinks Sweet Bones and Butts. I'm going to be using Angus & Oinks The General. I'm going to be using Traeger's Chicken Rub. And lastly, I'm going to be using Meat Church's Holy Voodoo Rub. Without much further ado, let's get into the kitchen and let's get trimming some chicken wings. So here we are in the kitchen and we're going to trim up some chicken wings. You might find that you don't need to do any trimming depending on how you like your chicken wings. I just like to make one quick adjustment to them and then they're ready for getting our rub on. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do right now. So here we have a couple of chicken wings ready for trimming. Most of it's actually already been done. The sort of tip is off this section of the wing, so that's good, so we don't need to adjust that. The only trim that I like to do here then is this sort of tendon here, if you can see that.
It's all tendon, look at it.
I just like to strip that out. So you can use a knife, that's absolutely fine. I'm just going to take it off with some kitchen shears. And it's simply a case of just cutting along each side and just taking that out. And that is how I would trim a chicken wing. So here we have our chicken wings all trimmed up and ready to go. I've got a bowl here and I've got a little bit of olive oil, and then I'm just going to do on camera the Traeger rub, put that on so you can see that. So it's time to just take some of our wings. That'll be fine. And we will just add a touch of olive oil. And that's really just as a sort of, I guess, a bit of a binder for the rub to sort of stick to. So you don't need too much of it. And rub that through, that looks fine. And then it is simply a case of taking it and just applying it very liberally to our chicken wings, like so. I'll pop a photo on the screen so you can see what these look like when I'm done. But that is generally it. And then we'll be able to get those on the barbecue. So I'm going to do this for the other 3 rubs that I'm going to be using today. Again, I'll get quick photos and then it's time to get out. We're going to be cooking on the gas grill today on the Weber Spirit E310, and they'll probably take about 20 minutes for these to cook. Here are our finished chicken wings with the respective rubs on them, and I'm sure you'll agree they all look amazing. I have cooked them initially indirectly on the top of the shelf in the Weber. I like to do that just to make sure that they're cooked 100% of the way through, and then what I do is I transfer them down onto the main grills and just give them a nice little bit of char. So I find that that works amazingly, cooks them all the way through, and there's no issues in terms of anything being burnt on the inside and raw on the inside. I'm not going to be doing the usual taste test today, as I already know how these rubs taste and how they taste on chicken wings. So you'll have to take my word for it, and I want you to go out and I want you to try these for yourselves. So I'll simply say,
Get in my belly!
if you like what you've seen today, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit that bell button for future notifications. Thanks very much everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.